I don't see why he's calling him a she whenever he just said that he's mocking women. I get it, like he's trying to be politically correct, but I just don't see how you can say that he's mocking women and then go on and call him a she. You're mocking women now.
Subscribe to this channel in case you are watching this channel and have not subscribed.
Good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. It's good to be back, and it's good, but it's Pride Month, which of course used to be about celebrating gay rights, and quite right too, but it's now mostly about advertising campaigns by brands celebrating their own righteousness. Big businesses love to signal their virtue in English-speaking countries where gay rights have been hard-fought and hard-earned.
I didn't even
Not so
notice.
much in
The
the
Middle East is just a regular BMW, and the other one's a Pride. Like, that's just virtue signaling. I think that's the right word for it. Where, like, I mean, if it's definitely not genuine. Like, what in the hell? If you really are all about Pride Month, you would especially show it off in the Middle East where it's not accepted. 666 tweets if you ain't see that.
East, where it's often illegal and punishable by death. And with everything from burgers to banks and beers now bedecked in the rainbow flag, companies have to work a little bit harder to prove just how virtuous they are. Glamour magazine has chosen to make Logan Brown its Pride Month cover star.
The fuck
I'm
is
a
that?
pregnant trans man and I do exist, he said. No matter what anyone says, I'm living proof. Well, living proof of what?
Dog, like what is, there was always this fucking, like, what, I remember whenever I was growing up, this was like a major story that went around for some months, or at least on TV, where there was a woman that was, I guess, trans. I don't know, I can't remember. I always thought it was just a gay lesbian woman that dressed like a guy, but they ended up saying like, oh, I'm a guy and I'm pregnant, yada yada. Man, that's crazy. I never realized that motherfucker was trans. I'll put a picture up if y'all don't remember him, but man, it was this lesbian. I don't know, maybe it was a trans man, but I don't know.
Logan is living proof that biological women can get pregnant, as hundreds of biological women do every single year. That's it. That's all this proves. This is precisely where this movement loses everyone with a shred of common sense.
Right.
It's not about trans people. It really isn't. Most people watching this have probably never even met a trans person. Most people, including me, who have, just want equal rights and respect for anybody who suffers from gender dysphoria, who genuinely believes they're born into the wrong body. This is about the increasingly hysterical campaign to make us all believe the sky is green and the grass is blue, and that anyone who disagrees is a hateful transphobe and a bigot. It's a campaign that petrifies politicians, leads us to the remarkable position that the two opposition leaders in British politics now make statements like this.
A woman can have a penis.
Nick, I'm not. I don't think we can conduct this debate with, you know.
Sorry, have I offended you in some way?
No. It's just. No. I just.
Can a woman have a penis?
Well, I've just answered that question.
They can.
Listen, I've made it really clear that if people, the vast majority of people will have the same gender as their biological sex, but a small number won't.
So a woman can have a penis?
Well, quite clearly.
I just don't get that, bro. Like, how I get it. They say they feel like it. They say they feel like they're in the wrong body. How do you know that's what you feel like? I was talking to my buddy the other day about this. I don't know. He's a man. I'm a man. I have no idea what the hell he feels like as a man. I have no idea what another man feels like as a man. All I know is I am a man because that's how I was born, and I feel like myself. I don't like, it's just, that's just so annoying to me how like, if it's a mental condition, that's whatever, but to pretend like oh, they was really born in the wrong body and they know because that's how they feel, it doesn't make sense, because nobody feels the same as someone else. They might have like things that they're interested in as someone else, and different things that they're not interested in as someone else, but that doesn't mean that you are them, you know, like you are your own person. And the gender should only go down to sex. Like, if they were gonna talk about gender is about femininity and masculinity, I've never called someone a gender because of the way they act. I've met masculine women, I've never called them a he just because they act masculine, or I've met feminine men, I've never called them a she just because they act feminine. That shit just annoys the hell out of me, how they say is gender isn't sex. Like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
Quite clearly, a woman can have a penis. I mean, that happened before I went away, and I spent the whole week I was in France mulling over that answer and concluded It was a completely stupid thing to say, wasn't it? Can you imagine if I'd said 10 years ago that British politics would pivot on the question of whether women have penises? Or that the most terrifying question in the world would be, what is a woman? The documentary of that name, What is a Woman, calmly eviscerates this absurdity by allowing the people who advance the looniest arguments to tie themselves in their own knots.
Please, if one person could tell me what a woman is.
You are not here for women. We ask you to leave.
What is that? A woman is not anything in particular.
There is not
This bitch is evil if you ain't watched it. Her too.
Some women have penises, right?
She's just,
some men have vaginas.
I think that last one, I think she's just got something wrong with her head. But the other two, I think, are genuinely evil.
Men only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is? Do you want to tell us what a woman is?
I'm a biological woman that medically
This story is sad.
to appear like a male. I will never be a man.
If you guys didn't get to watch it on Twitter, I'm not sure if it's still up or not, but if you didn't get to watch it on Twitter, you can go to Stevie Knight's page. He's got What is a Woman, where he reacts to it. That's where me and my girl watched it. It's on YouTube, all of it. So it's really good.
Here's over. Let's turn off the cameras.
Excuse me.
They're fair. I just wanted to know, what is a woman?
And you're not going to find out.
Well, that documentary was posted to Twitter at the end of last week, so it could be seen far and wide for free to mark its anniversary. But in a sign of these fevered times, it was censored for the crime of misgendering. Misgendering. Well, Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, personally intervened and then recommended the film to his gazillions of followers.
Aced.
And in a second sign of our times, the tweet promoting the film has now been viewed 172 million times.
Jesus,
So the biggest film in the world right now isn't Little Mermaid, Spider-Man, or that is Fast and Furious. It's What is a Woman by Matt Walsh, which I think shows the level of sheer exasperation there is of this relentless campaign to subvert reality and bully anybody who refuses to go along with it. For the avoidance of doubt, a woman is an adult human female. That's it. Beginning and end. The percentage of women with penises is 0.
With
Well,
real
Lenny
penises.
Maguire's Matt Walsh, the filmmaker of the year right now, joins me. Matt, well, congratulations on having the biggest movie in the world.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's been a staggering week for you. I mean, it was a great film when I watched it originally, because it just basically kept asking the same question I've been asking on the show for the last year. But it's a question which flummoxes everyone from Supreme Court justices to male politicians here to anyone you care to think of in public life. When you put it on Twitter and then it got suppressed and then Elon Musk intervened, what was your feeling about that whole process?
Well, when they first decided to censor it, it was kind of this feeling of, oh, well, here we go again, because this is what we're used to from big tech. It's every single big tech platform is run by the radical far left, and especially on this particular issue, they don't want you to talk about it. They don't want it acknowledged. There are basic truths that aren't allowed to be discussed. We were just demonetized by YouTube on misgendering grounds, just a couple of weeks ago. We thought that Twitter would be different under Elon Musk, and then they kind of pulled the rug out from under us. And at first, for me, it was sort of this, okay, well, I guess Twitter is the same as all the rest of them, until Elon Musk, as you say, intervened. And next thing you know, where there are resignations and all these sorts of things happening over at Twitter in their brand safety department, which makes it clear that no, in fact, Twitter is the one exception. It's the one major big tech platform where free speech is allowed. So I was happy that, of course, how it worked out, but also that this film, on top of dealing with the gender issue, also could succeed in really a victory for free speech. I think it's a really important victory for free speech, because if it had gone the other way and Twitter had decided to keep this film censored, then that would set a really dangerous precedent, I think, for all the other platforms.
Yeah, no question.
Oh God, the thing that I don't see why the people that resigned. I don't know how many people resigned. I know that the head of safety or something. I'll put a link up to it. I know that she resigned, which I think that is just like the captain leaving his ship to his left. Like that person stayed working with Twitter, knowing that Elon Musk is this type of way and probably doesn't agree with how she feels about her beliefs and this and that, and she decided to stay until Elon said, like, no, we have to upload this. I would assume that she was working behind the scenes, like suppressing other shit and this and that. and then finally tried to suppress this, which was major, and she couldn't do it. And Elon stepped in and was like, no, we got to do that. And I'm assuming she resigned, which to me is just like, I mean, it's like surrendering. Like, you may have lost the battle, but you could have potentially won the war. Even though I wouldn't have want that. But I would have just thought that since she stayed around this long, that she would have decided to stay and keep fighting for her point of view. But she decided to leave, which is, I think she probably just threw a sissy fit, and since she couldn't get her way, she just left. But I just think that was probably not the smartest move for her and her side, you know, the left and the LGBTQ people.
Elon Musk said this in reply to someone who tweeted him. This was a mistake by many people at Twitter, talking about the suppression of your film. It's definitely allowed. Whether or not you agree with using someone's preferred pronouns, not doing so is at most rude and certainly breaks no laws. I should know that I do personally use someone's preferred pronouns, just as I use someone's preferred name, simply from a standpoint of good manners. However, for the same reason I object to rude behaviour, ostracism or threats of violence if the wrong pronoun or name is used, which I think is a pretty reasonable position. I mean, is that a position you would share?
No, I mean, I don't personally share that position. I'm not going to use preferred pronouns. I'm going to use the pronouns that are accurate. You know, I just reject the concept of preferred pronouns. You can prefer whatever pronoun you want or whatever adverb or, you know, noun you want, but that doesn't mean that I have to use it. You don't get to put words in my mouth. However, the position that Elon Musk has on this is, you know, it's a position a lot of people have, and at the very least, it respects free speech. So this is what he's going to do, but you can say what you want because you can't force someone else to share your perceptions. That's what the preferred pronoun thing is all about.
Yeah,
right.
You know, they're trying to not only put words in your mouth, they want you to affirm their perception of reality. And the idea that we would be forced to do that, either legally or even according to the terms of service of a big tech platform, is just it's just insane.
What it is.
Yeah, I get stuck on that too, because I agree with Elon. Like, I don't want to be rude to someone. If they ask me politely to call them a he or she or whatever, I'll try my best to do that. But then again, I just don't agree with it. You know, like I don't believe what the hell they're saying. But like this is probably not the best analogy, but it'd be like an autistic person saying like they want to be called normal. I'm going to call them normal because it's just rude to call them something else. Then again, I kind of see what Matt's saying and how it kind of like affirms to them like that what they believe is right, even though it's not. And that it forms delusion in their head, which can't be healthy. It's like no matter which way you take it, it's a lose-lose because you're either rude or you're enabling them. And I go back and forth to this all the time. I think it just depends on who's saying they want the preferred pronouns, because if they're being rude, I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna call you whatever the fuck I want to call you. But then again, like so many people nowadays genuinely look like the opposite sex because of surgeries and hormone replacement and this and that. Like they genuinely look like the opposite sex, so you don't even know anymore. And there's so many people that don't even look like either. Like I see so many people where I don't know if it's a woman or a man. Like there's just not really a win to the situation, because either way you play it, you're kind of on the wrong side. Let me know what y'all think about that, because I've been making my YouTube channel videos for a while, and I still have no idea which position I'd feel more comfortable taking, and I kind of play both sides sometimes. Like with Dylan Mulvaney, I'll say that motherfucker is a he all day because I genuinely believe he's lying. But with someone like someone that I don't know and I don't know their position on it, and they say they're a girl, I'll just call them a girl just because I'm not trying to be rude about it. Like they might have something wrong with their head that makes them feel this way, and then I would be wrong for hurting their feelings, I guess. I don't know. It's just such a tough decision to make for me for some reason.
And of course the argument they use is, well, it's offensive, but of course the whole point of free speech, really at its heart, is that you should be allowed to offend people.
Right.
I mean, that's the point of free speech. It's not that everyone agrees with each other. It's that you should be able to vehemently disagree or be offensive or rude if you want, and people should be able to tolerate that, because that's what happens in a free society with a thriving democracy that believes in free speech.
Yeah, that is the importance of free speech. And like I said, a lot of this story is about a victory for free speech, which is really important. But I also want to note that, you know, what's happening here is on an even deeper level, because on the left, what they're trying to shut down, it isn't just speech generally, and they are trying to shut down speech, but they're trying to shut down true speech. So it's not
Yeah.
just speech. It's in particular basic fundamental truths of life that they're trying to stop us from saying. And that makes it all the more dangerous and egregious.
I mean, your issue with YouTube was they demonetized you effectively by saying that you had misgendered Dylan Mulvaney, who's this transgender influencer that, of course, has created Bud Light's revenue by taking part in a PR stunt for them, which enraged the core customers at Bud Light. What did that whole thing tell you? I mean, A, what happened to you guys in terms of the way YouTube responded, but also about what happened to Bud Light?
It's honestly crazy how that is the one that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, because there's so many other ones that are just completely a smack in the face to womanhood. This is more just like you wanted to talk shit on the fan base of rednecks and frat boys, which is what they said. They said they wanted to get away from their fan base, and the fan base heard that and they was like, all right, fuck y'all. It's like I don't know, like I'm not saying like that's not valid and that's not something that should have happened, but I'm saying like the ones with like Tampax and the makeup company, well, the makeup companies I kind of understand too, but with like Tampax and companies like that that are specifically made for women and it only has a use for biological women, those ones are the ones that I should have been like boycotted to oblivion. But women just can't do that because they're accepting and inclusive, and if they boycott it, that means they're hateful, and it's just like what they're trying to take away your womanhood. They're trying to take away, like they're trying to belittle something that you have to deal with 1 week out of every month for years, like that. For like that's just I don't know, that's just disrespectful as fuck to me.
Yeah, I think it shows that people are, as far as Bud Light goes, people are exhausted by this. The left, you know, they were able to run roughshod over the culture in Western culture generally for years, and I guess they assumed that there would never be any pushback, and they kept going and kept going until normal people just finally had enough of it. And I wish we had enough of it much sooner, but at least now finally that's a line is being drawn. And I think one of those lines is when you're trying to get people, again, trying to force them to affirm and celebrate something that's just not true. At a certain point, I think it's too far for the average person. That's what we're seeing now. This is not, despite what the left says, you know, this pushback against LGBT pride and against the transing of kids. This is not some sinister right-wing, well-funded conspiracy. This is really a groundswell thing. This is grassroots. These are just normal people who've had enough of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And in Dylan Mulvaney's case, I mean, Dylan Mulvaney identified as a gay man until last year, and a lot of women have been genuinely outraged that Dylan Mulvaney has been putting out these videos effectively mocking women, actually, if you look at them. And that's been my problem with what Dylan Mulvaney's done. So Dylan Mulvaney can call herself whatever she wants. I don't care. What she can't do, I don't think, is make millions of dollars mocking the concept of womanhood when until last year she identified as a gay man and is clearly a biological male.
I don't see why he's calling him a she whenever he just said that he's mocking women. I get it, like he's trying to be politically correct, but I just don't see how you can say that he's mocking women and then go on and call him a she. Hey, you're mocking women now.
And it's also the irony that we hear so much about the dangers of appropriation these days, even when it comes to things like Halloween costumes, where someone is clearly just having fun and they put on a Native American Halloween costume, whatever it may be. We're told that that's horrifically racist and it's demonizing and it's a caricature of the person you're wearing the costume of. Well, that's exactly what Dylan Mulvaney is doing. He's making a caricature of womanhood.
This cover of Glamour magazine involving Logan Brown, who is a trans man, appearing to be a pregnant man on the cover. But of course, Logan Brown is a biological female. So it's actually a pregnant female that we're looking at on the cover.
If you get your breast removed as a woman that's going to be a trans man and you get pregnant, will your stuff still grow? Because it looks like she got titties, but I would assume that if they're talking about they're an actual man that's pregnant, I would assume that they would have at least done the top surgery.
When a magazine, a mass market, mass selling women's magazine like Glamour does that to celebrate Pride Month. What does that say about where we've come to as a society?
Well, I tell you one thing it actually says is it makes the opposite of the point they're trying to make, because the point it actually makes is that women are still women no matter how they identify. I mean, I read that article and they're making a big deal about, you know, Logan Brown was saying, well, yes, I exist. I'm pregnant. This is real. I know it's blowing people's minds. Well, no, it doesn't blow anyone's mind. We know that you're a woman. Even if you cut your hair short and you give yourself a different name, you're still a woman. You still have the biological function and capacity of a woman. So that's actually what it proves, is that this biological identity is inherent. It's immutable. You can't get rid of it. You just are who you are, no matter how you identify. No, that's not the point that we're trying to make. But to me, that's what it proves. That even a quote unquote trans man can still get pregnant proves that, you know, she's a woman.
We've seen, as I said, Bud Light, we've seen the revenue collapsing after the Dylan Mulvaney thing. We've seen Target, a big supermarket chain in America, suffering similar problems after really going very hard on Pride merchandise in the children's departments. We've seen your film try to be cancelled and then bouncing back within days to become the most watched film in the world. I'm getting a gut feeling, Matt, that the woke worm is turning. The common sense is beginning to win
the shit's swinging.
And it's because the majority of people who've been silent and been cowed into silence are beginning to find their collective voices and acting.
I think that's exactly what happened. And that's something that even when we were filming What is a Woman, which goes back, you know, we were filming it in 2021, a large part of 2021. And, you know, I can remember going around the streets in various different cities and doing these man on the street interviews with people, talking about these issues with them. You know, what is a woman? How do you define womanhood? And people were, just the average person on the street was terrified to even discuss the issue, especially on camera. I think that if we were to do that part of the film again right now, I think we would get a different kind of response. I think there'd be a lot more people willing to talk about this, because I agree, people are finding their voice. Everyone has always known that this is crazy. The idea that sex can be changed and all of that. People know that it's crazy, but they've been you know, cowed into silence. And all it took was just to realize that, you know, it's okay. You can speak up and say what you know is true. And once that starts happening, I think it builds momentum. And I think the left is really worried about that.
It's because of cancel culture. That's what scared everybody. Everybody was scared to lose their friends and their family and their jobs. Like, they had to keep their mouth shut. They had to go with what the agenda said. And I think a lot of people still are in that boat, especially people with like careers. The people that went to college to be like these politically correct jobs, like doctors and political officials and, you know, people along them lines. But the average like hardworking people that are hired because they work hard and not because of their names and stuff, they can say whatever the hell they want. And I think those people are the ones that are speaking up, which are soon gonna be able to get to where doctors and shit can start disagreeing with it. I don't know if doctors will ever be able to disagree with it. Same like therapists and psychiatrists and shit. I don't know. Hopefully soon it will be, because like those people's opinions matter the most. Well, they do, but they don't even have their own opinions. So it's like they don't. But their opinions should matter the most.
Sometimes if you want to know it's raining, just open the window and have a look when it's raining, and you'll see rain. And the moment you start to deny that is where the trouble starts. Matt Walsh, congratulations on having this monster film. You're bigger than Spielberg right now. I take my hat off to you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
They said that he got 170 million views on Twitter. I wonder how many of them actually were like that actually watched the whole duration of the film, and how many people actually just like tuned in, listened to it for a little bit, maybe tuned in later and listened to the rest. I wonder how many people just, because I know that Twitter shows that you viewed it just by scrolling. So I know that a lot of people probably just saw it by scrolling. But I wonder how many people actually watched it. At least, I would say at least 10%, right? I would assume at least 10%. Like, so 17 million people, which is still giant as fuck in just a couple of days. I don't know if it's still on Twitter. Let me check. Yeah, so it's still on Twitter. It's got 180 million views. They said they was only going to do it for 24 hours, but they must have just kept it up there because of the attention that it got, which I think was smart. Like, I get that they need to make their money, but I think the issue is more important than the money that could be made. And I'm assuming that they probably made plenty of money off of just it being on Twitter, and they've already made plenty of money with it prior to it being on Twitter because it's been around for a year. But yeah, if y'all want to watch it, it's on there. If you want to watch someone react to it, Stevie Knight, I would recommend. The motherfucker's a dog, funny as shit. He watches it with his girl, so you get both sides, you know, from a male to a woman perspective. But yeah, I highly recommend watching it because it's just insane, man. It's like, how in the hell do you make a movie that's that entertaining off of just one question? A basic question: what is a woman? It is such a genius idea for a movie, and Matt Walsh deserves all the credit because it was his idea. He might have had some help, but I think it probably started with him, and if not, he was the lead to it. But I highly recommend. But with all that said, I hope y'all liked the video. Please leave a like. If you guys got anything to say about the video, let me know down below. You know I'll read every single comment. I would really like to know you guys' thoughts on it. What you guys... Well, I don't know. I don't want you guys to get in trouble for saying something on YouTube. I know YouTube's like strict as shit, but I always approve all comments, no matter how vile, even if they're towards me. I want people to have the freedom of speech. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for that, but if I do, just know I went out fighting. But yeah, like I said, leave a like, please comment, and if you can, if you will, please give your boy a subscription. With that said, deuces.
Bitches, it all makes sense to me. Why you jealous of your friends trying to get with me? No sympathy while I'm on this Hennessy. Kinda got a nigga feeling you my enemy. I ain't deleting that picture that you sent to me. It's clear to see that you ain't me and meant to be and meant